Hello there, how's it going? Let's talk Battlefront, specifically Battlefront 3. Now, people keep messaging me, commenting, tagging me, sharing stuff, just wanting me to promote Battlefront 3. Spread the word. For those that don't know, there's been a campaign by the fans, I don't know who started it, but I've just noticed it this week, for a new video game called Battlefront 3 to be made. So that people are just sharing it, basically trying to get the producers, the company, whichever game company owns the rights to it, to make Battlefront 3, right? For people that don't know about the what I'm on about, or what Battlefront is, and by the way, I'm going to say something completely controversial, so I'm going to just get it out of the way now, and then you can choose to listen to me or not. I don't care about Battlefront 3. I really don't care. Just stop sharing it with me, stop messaging me about it, stop commenting. I don't care. And these are my reasons why. But to get into it, for people that may not know, I'm just going to give a brief history of what Battlefront is and tell you my reasons why. So, the original Star Wars Battlefront came out in 2004, I believe. It came out on the original Xbox, you know, the big black brick. I was actually the manager of a video game store back then. I was in my 20s, and I didn't like the original Xbox. When it came out, I just thought it was like Microsoft cashing in on the video game market. I didn't like how it looked. I didn't like the games. I didn't like the big stupid controllers. I just didn't think it'd last. Little did I know that they would become like leaders in it, and of course cashed in on it, but did it very well. I'm now an avid user of Xbox One. I think they're great, but at that time I didn't like it, so I never played this game. Also in 2004 I was 22, so you know, this came out largely because of the prequels that were coming out then, episode 1, 2 and 3. And you know, particular episode 2 and 3, it was when like really little kids were into it and watched it religiously every day. Nothing wrong with that. Like, good on you, as you should. I did that with the original trilogy when I was a kid. But what I'm saying is, although I watched every film that came out at the cinema, I wasn't really playing the accompanying video games at 22. I was going out and getting laid. You know what I mean? I collect Star Wars games, so I've since gone back and bought it and played it. Yeah, it's okay. You know what I mean? Let's move on. In, I think it was 2014 or 15, this came out. Star Wars Battlefront. Star Wars Battlefront. Same game, same name, but different game and different console. This was on the Xbox One. And I bought this when it came out on day of release, you know, and they're super expensive, because I was so excited for it, because I watched a video which was like the making of, or behind the scenes, and I think that the studio was, or a studio in Sweden who helped make it, got the rights to all the original Star Wars props, literally like the AT-ATs, the AT-STs, all the background props, and they 3D scanned all the original screen used props to digitize and program into this game, so everything was super screen accurate. So I ran out all excited and bought it, took it home, and realized there's no game. There's no campaign. There's no main story game. It's just purely an online multiplayer game. Although I'm massively into that now, you know, I play Fortnite like daily with my nephews and online and stuff. And I play this online. Online gaming was, although it had been around for decades, and I had always kind of played certain things, like I used to play Alien vs Predator on the PC multiplayer online. That's how geeky I am. Multiplayer on Xbox was sort of in its infancy when this came out. Or maybe it wasn't, maybe I was just weird. But I was just massively disappointed. I'm like, I'm not playing that. I'm not paying for online bullshit. I'm like, the kind of, my favorite games are, you know, like Oblivion was my game then, and Skyrim later, you know, just me in a world to explore. No other people. I'm not talking to anyone. I don't use the headset. I don't like people, okay? Sue me. So I didn't really play it. I just threw it on the shelf and never looked at it again. Then I believe this is 2017, Battlefront 2 came out, right? Again for the Xbox One. Now, I was late to the table on this, but this is a highly controversial video game in video game history, if you know about it, and I'll explain why. So I didn't discover it until lockdown, right? You know, that pandemic thing. And I read about it saying Battlefront 2, although it was probably 3, 4, maybe 5 years old by that point in the middle of the pandemic, had its heyday. It had the most amount of online players in its history during lockdown. I wonder why. Because we're all just sat around bored out of our minds in like ultra fear mode and just wanting something that feels nice and loving and heartfelt and innocent and fun. You know what I mean? That's when I launched at a workshop. There was just a massive renaissance of Star Wars, right? It brought people hope again, and I think that's largely why this was so successful when it was. The reason it's controversial is when it first came out, all the unlockables, like new skins, new characters, new levels, you had to level up throughout the game to unlock them, but it was practically impossible. Like, it was so unbelievably ridiculously hard that people were complaining about it, and someone worked out, literally mathematically calculated, that to unlock things it would take, you know, like 9 billion hours of gameplay to do it, and it's like it's physically impossible for any normal person to do. Out of embarrassment, EA just started throwing new DLCs, downloadable content, at it for free. So brand new characters, brand new levels, like almost like every week it seemed, apparently at the time. You could just download all this new stuff. And when I say levels, I mean like complete, you know, new planets and new characters like Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, and, you know, new skins for them to play with completely for free, because they were embarrassed that they kind of, sorry, it wasn't just you had to play and level up to unlock them. It was either that or pay for it, right? So they got seen as like a money grabbing cash cow, and out of embarrassment just threw a load of awesome stuff at it completely for free and made it arguably the best Star Wars game ever produced, right? That's why it's controversial and quite famous. But at the end of that, they said no more. We're not doing anything more. The servers are still open, so you can still play online, but we're not adding any more content at all ever. It's done with. This had already happened when I discovered it, so I had since learned about all this. So when I started playing it, it already had everything, all the levels, all the characters, and it is amazing. It has a campaign, so it upgraded from that guy. The campaign is amazing. It's the Iden Versio and all that. If you've not played it, it's all canon. The story arc is awesome. It like really nicely fits into the Star Wars universe. The levels are beautiful. It feels like you're there. It feels like you're on Endor. It feels like you're on a Star Destroyer, flying the ships, using the guns. It's a first-person or third-person shooter with some flying bits in it as well. It's just, and it's all canon. It's just a really, really, really beautiful game. Like, look, I'm not complaining about Battlefront at all. I flipping love this game and I still play it now. And there's a certain mode that I play Supremacy, and I play it in like the Clone Wars era. It's basically first-person shooter, capture the flag, right? So you're either a clone or a droid, right? And you could be on Kashyyyk, you could be on Naboo, and you've got to capture the other team's flags. Most amount of flags captured, you then go onto your opponent's team, their big, massive ship, right? And you battle your way to the center of it, and you destroy their core, and that's how you win the game. But the other team can defend it, right, at any step. So if they defend it and they throw you off the ship, you go back down onto the planet to capture the flags again. So any game can last like 10 minutes or like 5 hours. I've literally had a 5-hour campaign on this with the same Supremacy game. It's so ridiculously competitive and exciting and awesome. I just flipping love this game. Right. Now, on to Battlefront 3 and all this stuff. I don't care, because this game is already good enough for me. Like, It has everything I want. When it was made, the last sort of Star Wars content that was added to it, shall we say, was the sequel trilogy. So like Crate and Kylo Ren and Rey and all that. Awesome. So you've got all that. But what has come about? What has Star Wars released, or rather Disney? What's Disney released since then that is worthy of being added? Let's just go through it, right? Mando. Okay, we all love Mando. Amazing. Just amazing. Come on. Mando, Grogu. Okay, you could add him as a character, maybe even Grogu, maybe some other characters, IG-11, maybe some planets, because a lot of it was set within what we already know. All right, I'll give that. Like Mando, the world of Mandalorian and characters from it. Cool. After that, Book of Boba Fett wasn't that good, was it? Let's face it. And you can already play as Boba Fett in this. So, no, strike. Ahsoka, pretty shit. Come on. I thought it was quite a dull show. You know, it was Filoni's kind of time to shine as a live action director. I don't think he did a very good job. It was okay. It had a lot of cool fan service, but that's to be expected. Filoni knows his shit when it comes to Star Wars. I just don't think he's necessarily a good live action director, much like George Lucas himself. He's a good storyteller, but I don't know. I think he was a bit nervous about it. Didn't come off that well. Ahsoka as a character, yes, definitely. You know, Rosario Dawson would be awesome. She looks cool. I'd much prefer the Clone Wars version of Ahsoka to play with. So let's add that. Okay, Rogue One, absolutely. Playing an Andor season 1, you can playing as Cassian Andor or Jyn Erso or K2SO or Donnie Yen. Definitely, let's add that. 100%. The Acolyte, I've still not watched it. I have no desire to watch it. Kamir as a character, absolutely awesome. Love him, love his character design. That's why I went to town on the Gauntlet, and version 2 of the helmet is coming out very soon, by the way. Love him. Okay, add him as a character. Anyone else on that? Probably not. They all look pretty boring to me. So, all right, let's give that one. But the Goonies show, I don't even know what it's called. I've not watched it. I don't want to. Don't care. Andor season 2, I'm watching at the moment, and it's the first thing I've watched since, like, for over a year of, like, just boycotting Star Wars, because I just felt this horrible direction that Disney were taking that was turning into Marvel, and they were just releasing things willy-nilly without caring about its preciousness and the lore and how important it is to fans. I've just felt a heavy cloud. So this is Andor season 2 is the first thing I've watched in ages, and I am enjoying it. It looks very visually striking. You know, call back to Rogue One. I'm finding it quite boring, to be honest. But anyway, we've included it in the Rogue One era. Cool. And that's it. That's really it, isn't it? Could maybe add, what's his name? The Ginger Jedi from Fallen Order. That he'd be cool to play with. But quite honestly, and this is why I've said I don't care, and please stop sharing it and wanting me to share it, is the only thing currently that would excite me truly about Star Wars is if Lucas comes back and does something. And I think the reason for all this excitement, and what I was going to say is, I don't think any of that warrants a whole new video game, because it'd be the same engine, it'd have all the same levels as this one, but more. So why don't you just add downloadable content of the new characters and new levels within Battlefront 2? At least then we don't have to upgrade to a bloody Xbox One S or X, you know, which I'm quite bitter about because all the best new games are coming out on next gen consoles. But I think all the excitement truly for Battlefront 3 and this new thing is largely due to how crap Star Wars has become in the last 4 or 5 years overall. I think that's where it's coming from. So I think the question is does a brand new Battlefront 3 video game, does everything I've just said, all the characters and stuff it could include, warrant a brand new video game? I don't think that's the question. I think the question is, what is Star Wars missing? Or rather, what is Disney missing with Star Wars? And I think the answer is integrity. Maybe that's controversial, maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. That's all cool. I've been Ash from Jedi Workshop. Namaste. this is the way. Peace. By the way, I currently have a flash sale on. It's 30% off all DIY kits. There's tons of helmets to choose from, loads of new helmets, armor, weapons, busts. If you like clones, there's loads of clones. It ends in 2 days' time, so you have to be quick. JediWorkshop.co.uk. Peace.
Doesn't sound so bad to me.